good morning or afternoon or evening from wherever in the world you reside. I've decided I commute about 15 minutes to work every morning, and so I decided that since I'm really not doing anything else but driving during that time, I would try to make some informative and or currently relevant videos, perhaps on political philosophy, socio-political philosophy, or current events also. And I don't like it when other people make these types of videos and go on for a long time. I find, and I can comment on my reasoning on a later video, but I find most people don't have that long of an attention span, and so I figured even if I ramble on for the entire 15 minutes, or sometimes it takes me 20 minutes to get to work, that's a natural time limit on how long these videos can go. So anyway, my name's Lance, and I apologize for not looking at the camera too often, but I will be driving, so you can still get my beautiful face, even though I won't be looking at you most of the time. I run a Facebook page called Liberty, Free Markets, and Peace. We have about 2,200 followers, something like that. We have three administrators on the page. I'm the one that started the page in late 2011, about the same time in 2011, so it's been going for about 4 years now. We go by hashtags. We tag our posts by hashtags, and so the other two administrators are hashtag pensive regressive and hashtag natural high. I am hashtag the jovial dissident, and I do most of the posting on the page, although the other guys show up on occasion. The page is dedicated to, as the name would imply, the pursuit of liberty, the advocation of free markets and peace. And one of us, Natural High, he tends towards the peaceful, anarchistic view. The other two of us, well, Pensive Progressive is an objectivist, and I have some objectivist tendencies, but I just call myself an individualist. I don't identify by anything other than individualist, although I have libertarian tendencies and objectivist tendencies. I'm just an individualist. Anyway, so I thought on this video I would address individualism, also having to address collectivism, as they are, in my opinion, diametrically opposed political philosophies. And so I thought that would be a good place to start. I know a lot of people aren't all that interested, or that it's hard to make philosophy an interesting or captivating topic. I've noticed online the videos that get a lot of views are current events videos, people commenting on, the current political process and world events and things like that. So I plan on making some videos like that, but I thought I would like to address my take on individualism and thereby collectivism in this video. So these two philosophies are, in my opinion, the core of all political philosophies. All political philosophies stem from these two philosophies, whether it be socialism and communism, or capitalism and democracy, they all stem from collectivist thought or individualist thought. And the two philosophies could not be more opposite. They encompass ideas which are absolutely contrary to one another. I'll start with collectivism. Collectivism is the idea, I'll try to put these things as benignly or as neutrally as possible, although that will be difficult. Collectivism, from a base perspective, is the idea that the collective should be superior to the individual, and that society is best served when individual desires give way to collective desires. That concept alone is a very interesting topic. Collective desires, or collective rights, or the collective approach. That concept and that term all by itself is a very interesting concept. Anyway, and I can address that, but so the collectivism is the idea that the collective society itself is more important than any one individual. Individualism is, as you might imagine, the polar opposite of that idea. It's the idea that if we do right by the individual, if we protect individual rights, if we say the individual is the most important thing, then we protect those individual rights, and society works out better for everyone based on the protection of individual liberty. It's the idea that the individual is supreme, not the collective. It's the idea that there are innate rights that exist on an individual level, and that those rights are able to be expressed without willful or negligent imposition on another individual. The implications of that idea are that all people's rights are respected equally. When you break the two ideas down, collectivism versus individualism, I'm going to have to take a little sidebar right here and explain something. I'm prone to a little bit of road rage. I apologize if you see me get a little mad on occasion, because people really suck at driving. But anyway, back to our discussion. So if you look at the two concepts, individualism versus collectivism, collectivism means that any given individual is expendable. You, me, anyone. Any given individual is expendable for what somebody deems as the good of the whole, or the greater good is a term you commonly hear. If you look at individualism, nobody is expendable. Everybody is a moral agent in and of themselves, and that moral agency is respected above all other things. So the application of individualism versus collectivism is that in individualism, and we're talking about philosophy here, not practical application yet, but just the philosophy implies that individualism respects the rights of everyone, whether you are male, female, gay, straight, black, white, immigrant, native, whatever you are, your rights are equal to everyone else's rights. Collectivism that is not the case. Collectively speaking, rights don't exist. So in collectivism, there are no rights. In collectivism, there are only privileges granted by authority. I believe any discerning individual can extrapolate where that idea leads to. It leads to the sacrifice of whoever is deemed necessary for the betterment of the whole, the betterment of the collective. Interestingly enough, it never turns out to be for the betterment of the collective. It always turns out to be for the betterment of whoever happens to wield power in that collective society. And so the two philosophies fundamentally diverge at the idea that the individual has rights, or no one has rights, only privileges exist. So I believe personally that the only way to guarantee equal treatment under the law is to guarantee individual rights, is to have a socio-political order that is focused on the protection of individual liberty, the rights of the individual. And that the only way to achieve any lasting semblance of social harmony is the same thing. So once you've determined that there are no rights, once you've determined that the collective, and by collective what generally happens is not a collective decision, but a decision based on the whims of whoever is in authority. The collective supersedes the individual, and that any given individual is sacrificed for the desires of whoever is in charge. That's the fundamental differences between the two approaches. There will be people that disagree with that. There is literally not a stance you can take, no matter how well supported by facts, that there will not be individuals that dispute it, generally based on a viscerally emotional response, but occasionally they will drum up what they believe are supporting facts for their contrary position. So collectivism is the sacrifice of the individual to the whole, and individualism is the respect of the innate state of individuality. And it is innate. People can argue all they want that it is not, but the fact of the matter is, I am free to live my life how I want to live my life, unless somebody else imposes their will on me. So liberty is the natural state of the individual. Subjugation requires acts or actions from another individual or group. And that is the fundamental differences in individualism versus collectivism on a very basic scale. There are definitely more nuances or elements that you can go further into, but I am at work, and so we will call this first little session good right there. Thanks for listening, and please share.